So today what we'll do is we'll start off, we'll cover a lot of topics from very basic down and distance, how to get a first down, spotting the ball, how to use the stat sheet, and we'll talk a little bit about rushing plays, passing plays, receiving, penalties, special teams, change of possession, and then we'll test your knowledge a little bit. We'll see how good you are at the end of the presentation. So I don't expect everybody to know all of this immediately. That's one of the good things about having this online is that you can review it, and I'll have a copy of this presentation with Brian if any of you want to review some of the things that are listed on here. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about down and distance. I mean, does everybody know what down and distance is? I think most of us should know, but just as a review, down and distance is an offensive play from the time the ball is snapped to the time the play is whistled over by the officials. That is considered one down. Now keep in mind, that's an offensive play. It does not mean it's not a special teams play, not a kickoff. You know, it is not a defensive play. It strictly refers to an offensive play. Okay? A team's offense is given 4 downs to move 10 yards towards the opponent's end zone. Okay? Distance is the number of yards a team needs to get a new set of 4 downs. So if you get 10 or more yards, assuming that there is another 10 yards, it's 1st and 10. If they make the 10 yards needed within 4 downs, they're given a new set of down. This is called getting a first down. Okay? If they don't make the required 10 yards, then they lose the ball on downs, and the other team takes possession of the ball. Okay? 1st and 10. That's the classic terminology. First means first of 4 downs, and 10 means 10 yards to go to achieve another first down. Okay? So that's what it means by 1st and 10, or 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8. Okay? First and goal. What does first and goal mean? Well, same. First is first of 4 downs, and next, instead of 10 yards to get another first down, it is 10 or less. The goal line is the goal. So when they say goal to goal, that means the goal line is how many yards you need to go. It could be anywhere from under 10. Sometimes if you get pushed back outside of the 10, you might need 12 yards for a touchdown. But since you have no opportunity to get a first down, it is still goal to go. Okay? Any questions on the first down or down in distance? Okay? How to get a first down. Okay? The definition of how to get a first down is shall be recorded when the yardsticks, you see the yardsticks that when you see out there held by the officials, they are ordered forward and or when a touchdown is scored from scrimmage, rushing or passing. Okay? Within a series of downs starting from 10 yards or more from the goal line, or when a dead ball foul results in an automatic first down. Now, this is a lot of things, a lot of words here, so I don't expect everybody to understand. So, let's break it down, okay? A first down is credited when the yardsticks are ordered forward. So, in other words, you gain the necessary yards for first down. The sticks are moved forward. That's a first down. If a touchdown is scored. So, if there was an opportunity to get a first down, but instead of gaining the first down, you score a touchdown, that is still a first down, okay? Or when a dead ball foul penalty results in an automatic first down. Okay, so let's say there is a late hit on the play, and that team is given 15 yards. It's an automatic first down. You credit Team A with a first down. Okay, so basically 3 ways of getting a first down. Okay. Okay. Now it gets a little tricky. A team can get 2 first downs on one play if the yards in the play result in a first down and an additional penalty, normally if it's 10 or more yards on each penalty, results in another first down. Okay? So let's go over a situation. Okay? Team A is the offensive team. Team A's ball on Team A's 10-yard line. So their own 10-yard line going in the opposite direction. Running back Nakama rushes for 20 yards to Team A's 30-yard line. And Team B is penalized 15 yards from that point to Team A's 45. So again, we gain 20 yards. There's a penalty, so they tack on another 15 yards, okay? So we're going to credit Nakama with a rush of 20 yards, which is what he gained from the 10 to the 30. And then we charge Team B with a penalty of 15 yards. So on that particular play, we credit Team A with a first down by rushing and a first down by penalty. So you notice on the stat sheet at the very top, you'll see first downs by rushing, by passing, by penalty, okay? These are good small, these maybe not required stats that you need to report into the ScoringLive, but some of the things you might want to do is when you take stats, I like to think stats kind of tell a story. It tells a story of maybe one team is really running the ball a lot more than passing the ball. Or if one team has so many penalties, you can provide that additional bit of information when you report to ScoringLive.com. Because it tells a story of maybe how one team won, maybe because of, you know, tremendous offense or maybe mistakes. Okay? First downs is one of those ways to tell that particular story. Okay? Now, a team does not get a first down on any kickoff, punt, interception, or fumble return, no matter how long the play is. So if we have a kickoff, again, punt, if there is a play and there's an interception or a fumble return, no first down. Okay? On an offensive play, when the yards gained for a first down is negated when team's possession is lost due to a fumble or interception. Okay? Does everybody understand what that means? Okay? So on that one, let's say a team rushes 20 yards, but then fumbles the ball and the other team gets the ball. Okay? Because the play wasn't over, that team, even though they gained 20 yards and would have gotten a first down, does not get a first down because of the fumble or a possible interception. Okay? Everybody understand? So no first down on that play. So again, the sticks didn't move on that play, so you don't credit a first down. And finally, during a first and goal from the 10-yard line or inside, since there is no opportunity to obtain a first down, even though a rush or pass could gain 10 yards, no first down is awarded. Okay? So here these three situations is when you don't give a first down. Okay? Any questions so far? Yeah, Shelly. Uh-huh. You can. It's possible. Let's say the runner, from the 10-yard line. Let's say he runs to like about the 30-yard line, then fumble the ball, and the other team gets the ball. You're still going to credit the yards for that particular player, for the offense, for that particular player, and for that offensive team. I'll talk a little bit more about rushing a little bit later, but you're still going to credit that team with the yards gained because they earned it. But because the play wasn't over and because that team was not awarded a first down because of the turnover, whether by fumble or interception, you do not credit that team with the first down. Okay? You do credit that player with the yards. And we'll have a situation during the rushing section about that. Okay? No. All these questions, very smart, because I think everybody else can learn from that situation. Okay? Now we're going to learn how to spot the football. Okay? So any part of the football that's touching the vertical plane or the hash marks above any yard line stripe, we're going to spot the ball from that yard line. Okay? However, if all of the ball is advanced beyond any of that hash mark or that yard stripe, then we'll spot the ball at towards the next line. So if I'm going in this direction, and if I'm on the hash mark, I'm on that yard line. But if I'm in between two hash marks, since I'm going in that direction, we're going to spot the ball at the point forward in that direction, nearest the intended goal. Okay? So we're going to give a visual example here. Okay? Team A is driving from left to right. Okay? Tell me where the ball is spotted. 20, 19, Okay, so the question is the ball resting on the hash mark? Yes, the ball is resting on the hash mark. So that means the ball is on the 20-yard line. Okay? Okay. Okay, next situation. Now the ball is located here. Doesn't look like it's on either hash. Where's the ball spotted? Okay? Keep in mind what direction Team A is driving, going from left to right. And you can see the arrow here, which means that's the goal line on this side here. Okay? So the ball is now on the 19-yard line. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Okay? Again, depending on the direction you're going, if it's not touching the hash mark, it's forward in the direction. Now, admittedly, school fields are a lot tougher. Okay? The thing that can help you when you're on a school field is use the the official that holds the down marker on the sideline. Usually, if it's between somewhere, you can probably split it 5 into 19, 18, 17, 16 before you hit that 15-yard line. So use the guy who's holding the down marker as the best place to try and spot the ball. Okay, that's one of the little techniques you can use to identify where the ball. When you're at the stadium or on certain fields like Lelehu or something like that where they have hash marks, it's pretty straightforward. But again, on the school fields, it is a little tougher. Okay, there are 4 exceptions to spotting the football. Again, we'll have this available for you afterwards. Okay, on a change of possession, it's possible that the yard line for one team may not be the same on the other team. Because remember, we're going in this direction, it may be 1 yard line. But if we go in the other direction, what does that mean? Okay, so again, situation here, Team A is driving. Okay, during 4th down, the team drives to this spot right here. Okay, now for the Team A, we're going to spot the ball on the 19-yard line, right? Okay, but since now it's Team B's ball, because the 4th down did not create a first down, the ball's still spotted there, but now where's the ball spotted for Team B on first down? On the 20-yard line. Okay? So again, on 4th down, if Team A drives to this point, they drove to the 19-yard line. Okay? But since the ball didn't get a first down, the ball remains there, but now Team B is driving in this direction, and since it's not touching the hash mark, we're moving it. The ball's not even moved. You're spotting it on the 20-yard line. Okay? Exception number 2. In certain situations where there's less than 1 yard to gain for a first down, it may be necessary to spot the ball back a yard to conform with the principles that there must always be at least 1 yard remaining for a first down. Okay? So remember, a first down is always 10 yards to get a first down. But if you gain just short, you have to statistically account for every yard on the field. Okay? Let's do another situation again. Team A is driving. Okay? Okay, 1st and 10 on Team B's 30-yard line. On first down, Team A drives 9.5 yards, just short of the 20-yard line. Okay? So where is the ball spotted on this play? Now, on this play, the ball is in between the 21 and the 20, right? Because we're short of the 10 yards required. Okay? But clearly, on the down marker, it says 2nd down. So we have 2nd down. Okay? It's 2nd and 1, and we're spotting the ball on the 21-yard line. Okay? Even though the ball is in between the 21 and the 20, since you must have 1 yard statistically to gain a first down, because there's no such thing as 2nd and a half. You can't give a runner 9.5 yards, 9 3/4 yards. It has to be in whole numbers. So in this case, the running back gets 9 yards, and even though there's a half a yard on the field, statistically, he must have 1 yard remaining to get a first down. Okay? Exception number 3. When on a first down, the ball rests just outside the defensive team's 10-yard line, it will be necessary to designate the scrimmage line as the 11-yard lines, as it would be possible for the offensive team to advance for first own without scoring a touchdown. That's kind of misworded. But let me illustrate that to you one more time. Okay? So it's 1st and 10 on Team B's 21-yard line. Okay? Team A rushes just outside of Team B's 10-yard line. So the question is, how many yards were gained on that play, and where is the ball spotted? Okay? So again, let's look this over here. The ball's on the 21-yard line. The ball is just outside of Team B's 10. So it's between the 10 and the 11. Okay? How many yards and where is the ball spotted? Any guesses? How many yards on that play? 11 yards and it's at the 11. What does everybody else think? Okay, well, Team A is credited for 11 yards. And the reason why you give him 11 yards is because spotting the ball on that particular play, since we're between the 11 and the 10, the nose of the ball says we're at the 10-yard line. So from the 21 to the 10, you're given 11 yards on the play. Okay? However, because there is an opportunity for this team to get a first down inside the 1-yard line, we have to spot the ball at the 11-yard line. Okay? So on the last play, the ball went to the 10, but now it's 1st and 10 from Team B's 11-yard line. Kind of complicated, I know, but you don't see this very often. Okay? But that is exception number 3. Okay, exception number 4. When the ball is between the 1-yard line and the goal line, with the forward point of the ball closest to the goal line, the ball is considered at the 1-yard line. Because obviously you can't mark the ball at the 0-yard line. It has to be at the 1-yard line. Okay? Any questions on that? This one's pretty straightforward. Okay. This is the stat sheet. Everybody have the stat sheet, right? Okay? There's lots of numbers, lots of things to thoroughly confuse you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the main points of the stat sheet. And later on, I can have Brian talk a little bit about what stats you need to report into ScoringLive. But I'm going to give you a basic summary of the stat sheet itself. You can see right off the top of the bat is the first downs we talked about. You don't have to use by rush, by pass, by penalty, but it's up to you. Again, this is just an additional thing to help you determine how they got first downs. Okay. What we recommend is you take play-by-play, and the reason why we recommend you take play-by-play, and I think I have a form, but you can just take play-by-play on a piece of paper. Okay. It helps in case the game speeds up. It helps you to take notes first, and then transfer your notes to the stat sheet. Okay. Secondly, it's just faster, and it gives you a running record of how the game has progressed along the way. So, even though I'm going to show you, this is my and helpful to recap key scoring or game-winning drives. If there's a key series of downs that created the game-winning touchdown, you're able to maybe write that down and report that into ScoringLive. Okay, by keeping that play-by-play is a very important key. This is just my play-by-play. It's just basically a bunch of lines, down in distance, where's the ball, what happened on the play, and if there's a particular time on the game clock that you wanna put down. Normally, when I put the time, I usually put it in case if there's a timeout, or if there is a touchdown, or something like that. Not every play needs a time. Okay, John? Yeah. Sure. I would say absolutely. One actually would be the writer, and the other person can help spot. Because sometimes you're going to need two people to help spot one another. Because half the problem is identifying what's the number of the player, and then the other problem is where's the ball. So it's going to be helpful to have people spot. And we're only talking offense here. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is what I'm trying to do is just trying to give you some basic foundation. So just basic foundation things, because I realize there's going to be some people who knows how to take stats and then some people who don't. And so there's always a learning curve right off the bat. But I would say first and foremost, take play-by-play. To me, it helps because you're able to kind of fill in on those kind of things. Okay? And if anybody even wants a copy, they can let Brian know. I can even give them a copy of this play-by-play. Okay? Okay. Next, we'll talk a little bit about rushing. Now, rushing is in the left-hand portion of your stat sheet. Okay? Basically, the center portion consists of the individual runners, and on the left-hand side consists of team rushing. Okay? All the numbers that you're going to place on here are cumulative totals. Okay? So all numbers are running totals as we go along in the game. So there's a lot of numbers here. Maybe I'll try and go over some of them with you. Okay? So let's take some play-by-play right off the bat. First play. Number 32, Yoshida, rushes for -2 yards. Okay? So what we'll do on this play is that we're going to write number 32, Yoshida here. Since he gained -2 yards, I'm going to put -2 yards here. Okay? Now, anytime we have an individual stat, it should match up with the team stat. So on the top there, we have 1 for -2. Okay? So every time we put something here, it will automatically place over there. Okay? Next play. Quarterback Takase rushes for 5 yards. Okay? So Takase, we'll put number 5 since he's not here before. We're going to put 5, Takase here. He rushed for 5 yards. We're going to put him right here. Okay? In addition, we're going to add -2 to 5, and the nets will be 3 yards. Okay? Third play. Running back Kaneshiro rushes for 12 yards. Okay? First rush for Kaneshiro. We're going to put number 11 Kaneshiro over here. We're going to put 12 yards here. And since he rushed for 12 yards, we're going to add 12 to 3, and the total is 15. Okay? Fourth play. That stud, Takase, rushes for 6 yards and a touchdown. Okay? So, 6 yards for Takase. We're going to add 6 yards to his current total of 1 rush for 5. That'll give him 2 rushes for 11 yards. I usually put a star there to indicate touchdown. Okay? So now he gains 6 yards here, so I'm going to add 6 yards to there so that right now, as a team, they have 4 rushes for 21 yards. Okay? So let's just say the game ends, and you need to report the final totals. You know that Yoshida has 1 rush for -2 yards. You know that Takase has 2 rushes for 11 yards and a touchdown. Number 11, Kaneshiro, has 1 rush for 12 yards. And then you know as a team, because if you add it up, 12, 11, and -2, the team total is 4 rushes for 21 yards. That's pretty much a basic run-through of the rushing total. Yeah.
So Takase's second rush was 11 yards?
No.
6 yards?
Correct.
Okay.
Takase rushes for 6 yards and a touchdown. So it's a cumulative total. 6 plus 5 is 11. So this is it. So now, some people choose to do individual yards, but then you got to add that up. So yeah. But again, always keep in mind, if you have your play-by-play, you can always double-check these numbers. Again, so the play-by-play really acts as your backup. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Uh-huh. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, that's what Stacy does. Because I think there's all different ways of doing this total. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think here's the good part about that system is that you know what this Takase's longest run from scrimmage is. If you put it down on the left-hand side and then you have his cumulative totals, that's fine. Absolutely. There's no one way of doing anything. Anything you feel that helps you process the numbers better, I'm all definitely fine with that. Okay? Okay? No, is there a particular thing? Yeah, absolutely. No, there's a lot of merit with Stacy's method of putting the current total, and then you can put a slash, or you can put the cumulative total. Okay, but you just got to remember. Hopefully, it adds correctly. Yeah. So that's the one thing. So every once in a while, you should check to see. Okay, it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 rushes. Okay, you have 4 rushes matches. Okay, 12 and 11, 23 minus 2, 21, 21. Okay, we match. Okay, so this is a good way of kind of cross-checking team rushing and individual rushing at the same time. Okay, now we're going to talk about passing. Passing is on the right-hand side of the sheet. Okay, lots of numbers involved with passing. So on the left side, the first column, the blank column, represents the passes that are completed. The second number, which has all of the numbers, is the number of passes attempted. The big the big gap in the middle is the total yards passing for the individual player. Then the next column I have is touchdowns, and the next column is intercepted. Okay. This first section here I've dedicated to passer number 1 because there are some games, like maybe a Mililani or a Lelihua game, that you might have somebody throwing 66 times a game. Okay. There are some games that you might pass the ball 5 times a game. Okay. So we have that option. Passer number 2, I'm assuming that passer number 2 is not going to throw as much as passer number 1. So I have 15 attempts for this particular passer number 2. And then I have a third spot for passer number 3, just in case if you have one of those funny plays where the guy pitches the ball and he throws the ball. At least you have a spot for passer number 3. Okay? If there is an interception on the play, there's a spot here for the interception return. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Again, I use it where it's cumulative, but like Stacy's system, if you have a passing yards, you can split the box and put the pass on that particular play slash the cumulative total again, similar to rushing. Okay? Okay, so now let's do a scenario again. That stud Kalani Takase passes complete to number 44 Nakama for 6 yards. Okay? So Kalani Takase gets 1 completion, 1 attempt, 6 yards. Okay? Play number 2. Takase passes incomplete, intended for Yoshida. So he was an incomplete pass, so you need to keep the 1 because there was 1 completion in previously. You don't need to put yards on that particular play because it was an incompletion. Okay? Third play. Takase passes complete to number 11 Kanashiro and runs for 67 yards and a touchdown. Shouldn't say rushes, but he catches the ball and runs 67 yards for a touchdown. So in this case, he completed a second pass. I added 67 yards on that particular play. 67 plus 6 is 73 yards, and he threw a touchdown. That's why I put the touchdown right there. Now you can put 67 here slash 73. 6 plus 67 equals 73. Okay? And a touchdown. 1. Yeah. I just use that column as touchdowns as 1. Yeah. Question? Yeah.
On the side that says completed,
Uh-huh.
why is it 1 minus 2?
Sure. The first play, as you saw here, was a completion, right? So he's 1 completion for 1 attempt for 6 yards. Okay? So the second play was an incomplete pass. So an incomplete pass means he had still completed 1 completion, but in 2 attempts total. So this total, if every time he throws a pass, whether it's completed or not, you always need to update this column here. So for every completion he makes, you add 1 number. If he throws an incompletion, the number stays the same. Okay? So now, the fourth play. Okay, so now we're at 2 for 3. 73 yards, and a touchdown. Okay? So the fourth play, Kanashiro now. Oh, shouldn't be. Okay, let's just change that. Let's make that Takase. Pass is intercepted by the opponent. Number 29 is the opponent. He catches it at the B14 and he returns it to the B39. So in this case, it should be Takase. He threw an incompletion. He wasn't a completion. He threw it to the other team. So the number remains 2. But now you have to credit him with an interception. Okay? Now on this play, number 29 runs from the B14 to the B39. So on this corner here, you have interception returns by number 29, and he returns for 25 yards. Okay? Hopefully, whoever does your defense can capture some of this stat. But in this case, you have, so Takase's numbers is 2 completions in 4 attempts for 73 yards. He has 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Questions? I know you might have some of them. Yes, Connie.
Not a question, but it might help you guys. For me, on the passing under the quarterback, you see that big column where the yardage goes. Every time there's a completion, I put the receiver's number in parentheses so that I know and I can go back and double check the yardage and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's all of these are great little things that different stat people use at any given time in the game. Some people use current and cumulative. Sometimes they put who caught the ball. Again, all of these are really good. Some people use different color pens so that they can see the different types of numbers. Use whatever you can in terms of to help you recognize these things. Okay. Now, because we had passing, if there is a receiver, you always have to have the receiver. So we're going to talk about receiving, which is in the bottom right corner of your stat sheet. So the number is basically simple. You have the receiver's name that's on the top, and then they have the individual yards, receiving yards. So again, we're going to look over the receiving now. So we use the same play-by-play. Takase passes complete to number 44, Nakama, for 6 yards. So if you recall back in the passing, every time you have a completion, you have to indicate 1 for the completion and as well as a yard. So every time you have a completion, you always have to have a receiver. So in this case, write down 44 Nakama for 6 yards. Okay? We had an incompletion here. Then we had a completion on the third play here. Takase passes complete to number 11, Kaneshiro, for 67 yards and a touchdown. So in this case, Kaneshiro's name, his first catch, 67 yards, and then I put a little star here. Some people circle or whatever. 67 yards, touchdown. So when you go and check, oops, let me check here. If you see 2 for 4 for the quarterback, you should always have two receptions. Okay, so you always need to double check the amount of completions the quarterback or quarterbacks have has to equal the total number of receptions here in the receiving area. Okay, double checking. Any questions so far? Connie.
There's a question on as far as a flea picker, how would you record that?
Okay, so does everybody know what a flea flicker play is? Okay. Yeah, flea flicker basically is the quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, who then starts to run forward and then throws the ball back to the quarterback. Is that the play? Okay. Throws it back to the quarterback, who then throws the ball deep or short or whatever. So who gets credit for that? Does the running back or does the quarterback get credit for the pass? Quarterback, right? Okay. There's no rushing on that play. It was strictly a pass play. Okay. So again, the quarterback gets the numbers here on here. Whether it's a completion or not, it's recorded. If the pass is completed, we make sure that the receiver is recorded here. Okay? I know we had a question.
What do you do for a quick and lateral plays? Like if the receiver gets the credit for the touchdown, but he's not the receivers.
Okay. I will get to that question a little bit later. Okay? Good. We had a question up front. Yes. Uh-huh. That was the total yards. The 6 yard. The question is, what is 6 nakama? Basically, it is the total yards gained on the pass play. So it doesn't matter where he caught the ball. The 6 yards is from where the line of scrimmage start to where the play ended. So from point A to point B, he gains 6 yards. So both the quarterback gets credited for 6 yards passing, and Nakama, who caught the ball, is credited for 6 yards receiving. Okay? So the total number of yards receiving will always equal the total number of yards passing for all quarterbacks. Now keep in mind, there could be more than one quarterback in this game. Okay? Any other questions on that? Okay, we're going to do others. These are not required, if I'm not mistaken, on the ScoringLive. But again, these are things you might want to be familiar with. For example, when we talked a little bit earlier about penalties, certain types of penalties. The penalties are accumulated here. I do it running total. So we had the first penalty was for 10 yards, so I have 1 penalty for 10. The second penalty was for 5 additional yards, so I have 2 penalties for 15. Next one was a 15-yard penalty, 3 for 30, and so forth. If you have kickoff returns, the person who catches the ball on the kickoff from that point and runs, the total number of yards on that kickoff return, you give it to this person here for 35 yards or whatever yards you have. Okay. Fumbles. If there is a fumble on the play, I circle every time there was a fumble. This is your offensive team now, offensive fumbles. If on that play the fumble is lost and it was a turnover, I circle fumble lost. So you will always have more fumbles than fumbles lost. You will never have a situation where you have 2 fumbles and 4 fumbles lost. You'll always have more fumbles than fumbles lost. Okay? Punts return. Keep in mind that if we have a punt, the person who punts the ball in total number of yards will be spotted here. If there is a punt return on that play, the opponent returns the punt, I will put it in this spot here. And the last area is field goals. If we have a field goal, the yards on that particular field goal, and whether it was good or no good. Okay, any questions on the other stats? Yes, question.
What if kick or punt returner catches it in the middle? Where does he technically start?
Where is the, okay, so you're saying the kick returner or the punt returner catches the ball. Where? You mean?
Like in the middle of like hash mark.
Okay. Right. So what you want to do is, the good question is, if there's a kick or a punt returner who catches the ball in between, let's say the 3-yard line, which is front, or the 2-yard line in the back of him or her, for that matter, you will spot the ball, because the ball was going in this direction. You will spot the ball where the nose of the ball is, so basically in behind him. Okay? So in this case, if it's between the 3 here and the 2 here, I will spot the ball in the 2. And then if he runs, you go from the 2 to wherever. Okay? If there's a front foot, back foot, record from the back foot. Okay? Question. Yes, that is just part of the scoring drive. Yeah. So for your stat sheet, I mean, you can put it on your scoring summary, but here is, this is where you place the field goals in this variable. Okay. Okay, we're going to go to rushing plays and situations. Let me ask, do you folks need a break, or do you folks want to power forward? I know you guys absorbed a lot, so I give you a lot of credit for absorbing a lot of those numbers, but we're going to go into some of the other now areas. Power, go forward. Okay, we'll just go forward, okay. Okay, rushing plays. Any player who carries the ball is credited with plus or minus yards from the line of scrimmage to the spot where the ball is declared dead in the player's possession or is recovered by the opponent. Okay, so basically, this applies again only to offensive plays. Okay, so any player who carries the ball gets either plus or minus yards from the line of scrimmage to the spot where the ball is declared dead. Okay, there is an exception called fumbles. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Okay, so rush by Kaneshiro runs from the A, which is your own side of the field, from the A32 to the A49. That's a plus 17 yards. If Kaneshiro goes now from the B49 backwards to the A41, that's minus 10 yards, okay? Because B49 to the 50, that's minus 1. And then from the 50 to the A41, that's 9. So the net is minus 10 yards, okay? Straightforward. Any questions on that? If the quarterback drops back to pass and is either sacked or takes off and runs, it is a rushing play. Even though it's a pass play, he comes back on a pass play and either gets sacked or takes off and runs, it is considered a rushing play. Okay, it's not a passing play. Okay. Pass attempt by quarterback Takase. He is sacked. Goes from the A32 to the A27. That is a minus 5 yards on a rush. Okay. Or different situation. Comes back to pass. Is in trouble, scrambles, and takes off and runs. He runs from the A49 to the B32. That's plus 19 yards. That's 1 yard here and 18. That's a total of 19 yards on the rush. Okay? Okay, on the run option play involving pitch near the line of scrimmage to the trailing back, you're going to credit the trailing back with the rush attempt and the total yards gained or loss, measured from the line of scrimmage regardless of where the player obtains the pitch. The player who pitches is not credited with a rush attempt or yards. Okay? So we have the option play, the quarterback starts going down the line, gets the defender, pitches the ball to the trailing back. The trailing back is credited with a plus or minus yards. The quarterback does not get any yards on that particular play. Okay? Okay, run option pitch. There's a difference between a run option pitch versus a shovel pass. Okay? The run option pitch is a backwards or lateral pitch versus the shovel pass, which you might see sometimes runs back and pitches the ball forward. That's a pass. Okay, so you got to know the difference between the run option pitch, which is either laterally or behind the quarterback, or if he runs back and he flips the ball forward, that's a pass. Okay, so you got to know the difference between each one. Any questions on the finer differences between the option versus the pass? Okay.
What if the quarterback pitch is like a really bad pitch? What do you credit the fumble to?
I will cover that too. Okay, on plays that do not involve a run option play but contain laterals beyond the line of scrimmage, we need to credit all players with yards gain or loss, but only one rushing attempt can be credited. So this is not one of those option plays. Let's say we have a run, and then their guy flips it back to another guy. You know, not the quarterback. Let's say the running back runs the ball, and then he kind of flips it to another person. In this situation here, we credit one rushing attempt, but all the yards have to be counted. Okay? So, from the 50-yard line, Nakama, who's the running back, because we know Takase is the quarterback, Nakama is the running back, advances to the Team B's 30-yard line, where Nakama then passes backward to Kaneshiro, who catches the ball at the 32-yard line. Kaneshiro then advances to the 25-yard line and is downed. Okay, so the question now is, how many yards does Nakama get? And how many yards does Kaneshiro get? And who gets credit for the rushing attempt? There is no quarterback. Running back, the first running back is Nakama. And Nakama then passes backwards to Kaneshiro. Okay? So spend about 30 seconds or so. Okay? So again, picture this in your mind. Quarterback hands off to Nakama, who runs, starts from the 50, he rushes to the 30, then Nakama passes backwards to Kaneshiro, who's trailing the play, and he catches it at the 32-yard line. Kaneshiro then advances to the 25-yard line. So how many yards does Nakama get? And how many yards does Kaneshiro get? Okay, there's one number here that's going to be tricky. Okay? Does everybody have an idea of how many yards does Nakama get? 20? Anybody else? 20? Is that the consensus? Okay. Here's the answer. Nakama gets credited for the rushing attempt, but he gets 18 yards. And the reason why he gets 18 yards is because you have to account for where the ball was caught. The ball was caught by Kaneshiro at the 32-yard line. So Kaneshiro begins at the 32-yard line. So you have to account from the 50 to the 32. 18 yards. Okay? Then Kaneshiro gets credited from the 32-yard line to the 25-yard line for 7 additional yards. So the net is still the same. The net is 25 yards. 18 plus 7 is 25 yards. Because they went from the 50 to the 25-yard line. Okay? Who gets the attempt? The first guy gets the attempt. Nakama gets the attempt. Okay? Again, take play by play. Very, very important. If you have one spotter in there, that'll help you. Question.
Does the first runner always get the rushing attempt?
Yes, the first person will always get the rushing attempt. That is correct. Kalan?
If there was a third guy, if Picasso is trailing the play, Kaneshiro chopped it to him from the 25 to the 27.
Yes,
Picasso ends up at the 15. Nakama still gets the carry,
correct.
and then the 3 of us split the yard.
Yes. So the total net from point A to point B is going to be split amongst 3 people. So in this case, Nakama still gets the rushing attempt. The other 2 do not get a rushing attempt, but they get yards credited on the play. So how are you going to mark that in your stat sheet? You have to understand it's not a 1. Okay, it's 0. Because it's not a rushing attempt, but the total yards equals the play. Okay? Really confusing, but it does happen, believe it or not. Okay? I don't want you to be worried about it. I don't want to be confused about it. But in case if that happens, at least you have this piece of paper to help you out. Right? Yes.
What happens when it's like the last play of the game? It's like 10 people.
Yeah.
What should we do?
Well, on that particular play, on those last plays, sometimes on those last plays of the game, you have guys handing off. What I would basically do is, the key for me is get the players, okay? You can always work or approximate the numbers, okay? But get the player who caught the ball. If you can get that, and then you can kind of eyeball the yards, that's fine. Because you know when the play starts, and you'll know when the play ends. Yeah. But again, I say the key is make sure you identify the players. If the quarterback drops back to pass, I did that already. Okay, fumbles. If, in the statistician's opinion, an errant pitch or a fumble precludes the intended receiver an opportunity to advance or results in no gain or loss in the play, charge the original ball handler with the rush attempt and the yards loss. So this is where you guys have all the power. If the quarterback, in this case, pitches the ball, and the person who's supposed to catch the ball, if it doesn't come to the, if it's not a decent pitch to that person, you blame the quarterback. Okay, that's one of the few times where the quarterback gets all the blame. Okay, so it has to be a good pitch. Okay, because if it's a bad pitch, you're going to still credit the quarterback, even though the running back eventually maybe falls on the ball and gets minus a couple yards. You're going to credit the quarterback with the yards gained or lost on that play. Okay, so it only has to be a good pitch to the running back in order for the running back to get credited yards. Okay, so again, it is your judgment. If it's a good pitch, you give it to the running back. If it's a bad pitch, or let's say if there's a fumble at the snap and you have somebody else grabbing the ball, okay, you're going to award it to the quarterback on that particular play. Okay, because ultimately the quarterback is responsible for the ball, right? Whatever he does after that point, still his responsibility until he successfully either hands the ball off or pitches the ball off. Again, responsibility is always who is the last person to have the ball. Okay? Okay. Situation 1. Team A's ball on Team B's 30-yard line. Okay? Takase pitches to Nakama, but in the statistician's opinion is errant, and Nakama is down on the B32. In this case, we charge Takase with a rush of minus 2 yards. Okay? Pretty much straightforward. Situation 2. Team A's ball on its own 40-yard line. On the pitch out, Takase tosses the ball to Nakama, who drops it at the 35-yard line. Team B, Brown, picks up the ball and advances it. Okay? So in this case, since the pitch was bad, we're going to charge Takase with a rush of minus 5 yards because the ball went from the 40 to the 35. Okay? So we now know that Team B, which is Brown, then picks up the ball and it goes from the 35, Team B's 35, to the team's to the 30-yard line. So he gets charged with a rush of a fumble return of minus 5 yards, and Team A with a fumble loss. Okay? I don't want you to get worried about fumble returns. Again, this is only about offense. So really the key on this play is on the pitch out. Takase pitched the ball to Nakama, which was a bad pitch. Takase drops it at the 35. Okay? See, when the ball then was turned over, you're going to credit Takase with a rush of minus 5. Yes, Takase? That's correct. Sometimes, and he's got a good point. He's got a good point. You might have a pretty good pitch that just falls out of the hands of the running back. Okay? This is where, again, statistician's opinion, your opinion. If it's a play where the running back should have gotten it, it's right there in his hands, and he bobbles it, you can give it to the running back. Okay? Yes, Takase, the quarterback.
What if the ball never gets to me as the quarterback? I'm standing in the shotgun. The center snaps the ball, hits his butt, and falls on the ground. And I have to fall on it. Who gets the credit?
Quarterback. In college, there's a difference. In college, it's a team rush. But in high school, it's the quarterback's fault. Got that? Quarterback? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, now we're going to talk about passing. Yes, question. Mm-hmm. Quarterback. Quarterback. College is team. Yes, college is team. In high school, quarterback. Okay, passing plays. Similar to rushing. All passing plays are credited with plus or minus yards from the line of scrimmage to the spot of the ball where it's declared. Okay? All yards gained or lost on each completed play are credited to both passer and the receiver. All yards thrown by the passer must match yards with the receivers, as I mentioned to you a little bit earlier. A shovel pass is considered a forward pass, so yards gained or lost are credited to both the passer and the receiver. Okay? As I mentioned before. Okay? Any questions on that? Similar to running plays, if there are any laterals beyond the line of scrimmage, this is addressing your question, credit all players with yards gained or lost, but only one reception can be credited. Similar to the rush, on a receiving play, one catch, and then if you have multiple players running with that, they will receive receiving yards. Okay? Again, let's do the quiz. Takasi's pass is completed to Nakama at the Team B's 30-yard line, where Nakama then laterals to Kaneshiro, who catches the ball at the 28-yard line and scores a touchdown. What is Takase credited for? Nakama and Kaneshiro gets how many yards? And who gets the reception? So who gets the catch? Nakama. Good. How many yards does Nakama get? Okay. Nakama gets 22 yards. Because again, remember, you always have to work backwards in this case. Kaneshiro, let's work backwards. Kaneshiro gets 28 yards on the touchdown, right? Because that's the number of yards. Okay? Irregardless of where Nakama advances, wherever Kaneshiro ends up, that's going to be the yards. So from the 28 to the 50, he gets 22 yards. Okay? Now, quick quiz for Kalani and Stacy. What's wrong with this play? It's a forward lateral. We've had a forward lateral. Yeah, no. But there is a possibility that you might have, for whatever reason, the pass maybe it's a fumble and it's fumbled forwarded for some reason. Okay? Whether the ball goes backwards on a lateral or if the ball comes loose and the ball is fumbled forwarded, you always got to record where the last player, in this case Kaneshiro, picks up the ball. Okay, from the 28 in this case, and he scores. Okay, so you could have backwards, it could go forwards, depending on how the ball bounces.
How does that look in the scoring summary since it's a touchdown?
Okay, so it's a scoring summary. How is it going to be scored? It's a good question. Okay, so think about this way. Who scored the touchdown? Kaneshiro. So you know we're going to credit the touchdown for Kaneshiro. So that's the first thing you put in here. Okay? How many yards is on this play? Okay, some people said 28, some people said 50. That's a good question. Okay? Right. So, ultimately, the scoring play was 50 yards. Okay? You need to indicate the total yards on the pass play. Because if you say 28, it's going to be assumed that the play was a 28-yard pass play, which is not correct. We see in this play that it's a 50-yard play. But on the scoring summary, we use this little two-word addition where it's Kaneshiro, 50 yards with lateral. See? Because then we know that there is somewhere in this 50-yard play, there was a lateral. Okay? And so that's where, again, if you take play-by-play, you know, you're gonna get maybe a call from Brian or somebody saying, okay, how many yards was that score, the last part of the thing, okay? With lateral, yeah. So in the scoring summary, it'll be Kaneshiro, 50 pass from Takase with lateral. Same thing we're running. If this was a running play, it'll be Kaneshiro, 50 run with lateral. No, it's who scored the touchdown. It's always who scored the touchdown. That's kind of the main thing. Okay, I know, and Brian will go over all that great stuff on the scoring summary afterwards. Kalani, quarterback stud Kalani.
Option play, if it's a 50-yard option run,
Yes.
and I pitch it to Kaneshiro at the 1-yard line, I did all the work. I ran 43 yards. I pitched it to him, and he runs 1 yard.
Statistically, one that he gets all. He gets it all. The running, yeah, you get nothing.
How does the scoring summary?
It'll be, who did you pitch it to? Kaneshiro, 50 run. It's not a lateral. It's a run option play. Run option play goes specifically to the second person. Football's a tough life. Quarterback gets all the glory, but the running back gets the touchdown. Unfortunately, that's how it goes.
So whoever breaks the plane gets
Whoever breaks the plane. No, the quarterback can run beyond the line of scrimmage.
the plane of the touchdown.
Yes. Whoever has the ball breaks the plane, that person gets credited with the touchdown.
So in that same play, if I'm running and it's not his option, and I'm about to get tackled, and I see Stacy back here, and I just chuck him the ball,
Yes,
then scoring summary would mean read Kaneshiro 50 runs with that.
with lateral, correct. Okay? So the situation you mentioned before is only on the run option. And most of us can see the run option play. Certain schools run the run option all the time. So you got to understand the difference between the run option than just running like crazy and flinging the ball to the next available person.
What happens if you're at the 1-yard line?
Yes.
You're running your option. So read your.
The read option, yes.
But this was in the Waipau and Moanalui.
Uh-huh.
But one of them was holding the ball. And
Okay.
going to the end zone together.
Okay.
Holding the ball.
Okay, right. So the situation is you have the quarterback who fakes to the fullback, and then both of them go into the end zone, right? Is that kind of how this how the play is? Okay. So since the ball has never left the quarterback gets the touchdown. Because on that type of offense, the quarterback has the option of giving it to the fullback, but he has the ultimate option of pulling it back, you know? So in this case, because he never let go of the ball, the quarterback will always have the last rights, so to speak. Until he releases the ball, it's always going to be the quarterback. Yeah, even if both running back and quarterback have the ball, the quarterback will always assume to be the person. Because if there's a fumble on that particular play, the quarterback gets the fumble and over any minus yards. So you see, again, the quarterback either guts or glory in this particular. Either he gets the touchdown, or if he fumbles, he gets the minus yards. So kind of a tough life to be a quarterback in some ways, yeah. Any questions? Yeah, stat-wise, yeah. That's why sometimes it's better to be up above, yeah, so you can see a lot more of the play. Okay, penalties. Penalties can range from 0 yards to 5, 10, 15, or more than 15 yards. There's even half the distance to the goal penalties, okay? So we're going to go over some of the situations on penalties, okay? On this thing, it's very important when you see a penalty on the play, you want to make sure you keep an eye on the person who has the ball. So in this case, it's normally the umpire who's in the middle of the field. he normally starts from a certain spot, and then marches the penalty yards. It's important that you watch that particular official, because that person will march it either 5, 10, 15 yards, or sometimes half the distance or more. Okay? So we're going to go over some of the situations. Again, a little bit of some of the tricks into spotting penalty yards. Here are the different types of penalties. We've got previous spot penalties, which means the official will march off the penalty from where the start of the down was. Results, no stats are involved in that play. Okay? So if it's marched off from the original spot, even though the person ran 20, 30 yards on that play, if the ball comes back to the previous spot and then marched 5 yards, no stats on that particular play. Then we have the spot foul. The officials will march off the penalty from where the spot of the foul is, either towards the offense or against the defense. Okay? If the spot foul is enforced from beyond the line of scrimmage, we're going to credit partial yards to the offense and then record penalty yards. Okay? That happens on certain occasions. We'll go over some of that. Spot foul situation number 1. It's 1st and 10. Team A's ball on Team B's 40-yard line. Okay? Nakama rushes for 17 yards to the Team B's 23-yard line. Okay? A clipping penalty is called against Team A. So you see the umpire standing on Team B's 31-yard line, and then he marches 15 yards back to Team B's 46-yard line. Okay, so in this play, how many yards will Nakama get? Started on the 40. The penalty is spotted from the 31-yard line and goes back to the 46. So that should help you on that. Nakama will get a rush of 9 yards, because from the 40 to the 31. And then Team A is then charged with a penalty of 15 yards to the 46. Okay? But as you notice, from the 40 to the 46, it's not first down. He only gained 4 yards on that play. So they're going to repeat the down, so it'll be 1st and 6. Okay? So again, it's going to be weird because it doesn't look like first down again, but it's not 10 yards. Okay? This is the reason why you need to figure these things out. Okay? Situation number 2. A's ball on Team A's 40-yard line. Nakama rushes for 5 yards to Team A's 45-yard line. A chop block penalty is called against Team A on Team A's 34-yard line. The enforcement spot is on the 34-yard line, and Team A is penalized 15 yards to Team A's 19-yard line. So again, look, it says here, Team A, Nakama goes from the 40 to the 45. Look, speaking of the devil. Nakama goes from the 40 to the 45-yard line. But there is a penalty on this play, and the enforcement spot is on the 34-yard line, and we go back 15 yards. So how many yards does Nakama get on this particular play? Basically, Nakama will not get credit on this play because it happened behind the line of scrimmage. And if it happened behind the line of scrimmage, Nakama will not get minus yards on this play because he ran forward. That's why. So this will be an all penalty of 21 yards. So it'll be 1st and 21. Actually, 1st and 31 back on the Team A's 19-yard line. Okay? So again, if the ball, if the enforcement spot is beyond the line of scrimmage, you're going to credit yards. If its enforcement spot is behind the line of scrimmage, it's all penalty, and you don't credit yards.
You guys understand why it's 21 yards and not, and even though the penalty is a 15-yard penalty, why it's 21 yards? It's because of where the penalty was enforced from.
Okay. So remember, I mentioned at the start of that penalties, it depends. There are certain penalties that are more than 15 yards, and one of the situations is spot foul. because it's a spot foul, it can be more than the number of penalty yards marched off. So again, your key is if it's behind the line of scrimmage, chances are it's going to be more than the number of yards in the penalty. Okay, the next type of penalty is from the end of the run or dead ball foul. The officials will march off the penalty from where the play ended, either towards the offense or defense. Okay? The result is add the player's stats to both at the end of the run and then record the penalty for the dead ball foul. Okay? Situation number 1. Team A's ball on Team B's 40-yard line. Nakama, that great running back, rushes for 17 yards to Team B's 23-yard line. A dead ball personal foul penalty is called against Team B. Then the enforcement spot is from the 23-yard line, where the end of the run, and the ball is moved between the 11 and the 12-yard line. So, on this situation, how many yards does Nakama get on this play? 17 yards, right? He goes from the 40 to the 23-yard line. Okay? So now, penalty, personal foul penalty, which is normally 15 yards, but you can see the ball is enforced from the 23-yard line to between the 11 and the 12-yard line. So remember when we talked a little bit about spotting the ball? So where's the ball spotted if it's between the 11 and the 12-yard line? Where? On the 11, right? Because we're going towards that way. Okay, so the result is Nakama gets 17 yards and a first down. Charge Team B with a penalty of 12 yards, right? From the 23 to the 11. And you're going to give a first down by penalty as well, because the penalty, even though they have another opportunity to get a first down. So, 17-yard penalty, penalty of 12 yards. First and 10 on Team B's 11-yard line. Okay. Questions on that? Again, the key is watch the referee who's marching the penalty, because he'll start at the spot of the foul and then we'll advance. So you need to know where that marker is so that you know exactly how far that penalty goes. Okay? Second down and 2. Team A's ball on Team A's 10-yard line. Nakama rushes for 35 yards to the Team A's 45-yard line. Dead ball personal foul penalty is called against his team, Team A. The enforcement spot is the 45-yard line, and the ball is moved back to the 30-yard line. Okay? So this play, similar, but Nakama gets the 35 yards on the play. But since it's a dead ball penalty, Team A is also charged 15 yards. So the net result is from the 10 to the 35, to the 45. That's where the 35 is. And then we move from the 45 to the 30. And that's where the 15 yards. So it's first and 10 on Team A's 30-yard line. You give them a first down, right? Because it's a first down by rush on this particular play. Punts. Punts are measured from the line of scrimmage, not where the guy's punting from the line of scrimmage, which is about 15 yards ahead of the punter, to the point where the receiving team first gains or loses possession of the ball. If it is untouched by the receiving team to the point of where the ball is down by the kicking team, is declared dead or the ball goes out of bounds. Okay? So on fourth down, Team A's ball on the 50. Yoshida punts the ball to Smith from Team B, who receives the ball at the 15, retreats to the 5-yard line where he is tackled. Okay? So the punt goes from the 50 to the 15. So how many yards is that? 35 yards. So we're going to credit Yoshida with 35 yards on the punt, and we're going to charge Smith with a return of minus 10 because he goes from the 15 to the 5. Okay? Pretty much straightforward. If the punt is blocked or a bad snap, do not charge the punter, okay, with the punt. Charge the team with the punt. If the punt is blocked, the team is charged with a 0-yard punt. Not the punter, but the team is charged with the 0. And the reason why you charge the team is that it does not accurately reflect that punter's punting abilities. Because I tell you, if you punted 40 yards throughout the entire season and then you have to average in a 0-yard punt, that doesn't really accurately tell you that the punter punted that average yards. Okay? So if it's blocked, charge team with a 0-yard punt. On 4th down, Team A's ball on the 30. In a punting situation, the center pass goes over Yoshida's head. Yoshida recovers the ball, and under duress, the ball kicks the ball. The ball goes out of bounds at the Team A's 20-yard line. Okay, so Team A on its own 30, center pass goes over Yoshida's head, and he kicks the ball, the ball goes out on Team A's 20-yard line. So what's the total net yards on this play? Minus 10, right? So in this play, we're not going to charge Yoshida with a punt. Again, we're going to charge the team with the punt. So in this case, Team A gets a team punt of minus 10 yards. Again, it doesn't because of the pass that goes over Yoshida's head. Okay? So don't blame Yoshida on the punt, okay? Okay? He doesn't get charged with a punt.
That's different if Yoshida drops this.
That is correct. Now, if there is a punt and the ball is caught, just like the same thing, it's your opinion that if it's a perfectly hiked ball to the punter, got it, and he drops the ball, then you're going to charge him with the punting yards no matter what. Again, same thing like how we had the pitch to the running back. If the pitch was good, the yards go to the person. Okay? If there is a return on a block punt, it is treated as a punt return. Okay? Team A's ball on its 30. Yoshida's punt is blocked and recovered by Smith on the 50, and he returns for a touchdown. Okay? Do not charge Yoshida with a punt. Charge Team A with a team punt of 0, and charge Smith with a punt return of 50 yards and a touchdown. Okay? So it's a punt return on any kind of block punt. Okay? No matter what. We have this weird thing called an aborted punt. If a punt play is aborted due to a bad snap or a fumble, charge the team with the rush. Okay? If the play results in positive yards, then charge the individual player with yards. So anything negative, you're going to charge the team. This is again only if it's a bad snap. Okay? Or if it's a play which results in a bad fumble. Okay? 4th down, Team A's ball on its 30. In a punting situation, the center pass goes over Yoshida's head. Yoshida recovers the ball under duress, is downed at the 10-yard line. So in this case, we're going to charge Team A with a team rush of minus 20 yards because of the bad center pass. Situation 2. Yoshida rushes to the 32-yard line. So he goes from the 30 to the 32-yard line. Since it's positive yards, we're going to give Yoshida a rush of 2 yards. Okay? Any questions on that? That is a lot of material to go over. Okay? When a player fumbles a properly centered ball, preventing him from punting, there is a loss. Charge the punter with the rush and a minus yards rushing. That's Kalani's situation here. If the ball is centered properly and there is a loss in the play, charge the punter with a rush of plus or minus yards. Okay? In either case, you charge Team A with a fumble. Yoshida back to punt, fumbles, properly centered ball, fumbles. On a mad scrubber, recovers the ball on the 28. So he goes from the 40 to the 28. He gets a rush of minus 12 yards. Okay? It's Yoshida's fault in this case, so he gets the minus yards. Again, it's your opinion. You're the statistician. You're going to determine if it was a good snap and he should have gotten it, fumbled it, blame the punter. Okay? Question?
Do these rules apply to behind shotgun also with the quarterback?
Yes. It's the same thing. If sometimes if the offense is in a shotgun formation and the quarterback is like about 5 or 7 yards, let's say it's a bad snap, goes over the head of the quarterback, and the quarterback has to run and downs it. Okay, that is considered a team rush. Okay. Yeah, bad snap kind of thing. Yeah. If it's properly centered, if the ball goes back to the quarterback, fumbles the ball and he drops it, charge the quarterback. Same thing. Again, you have the power because you're the statistician. You can determine who gets the rush. See? This statistician, you have so much power all of a sudden, right, after this. Huh? Okay. In this case, Yoshida, back to punt, fumbles, and falls on the ball in the end zone for a safety. So in this case, Yoshida gets a rush from -5 yards because the A's ball on its own 5. He gets a rush of -5 yards, a fumble, and it's a safety. Okay? So keep in mind, even though it's a safety, all of the yards have to be accounted for. Okay? Kickoff returns, again, measured from the point where the returning player is first gained or lost, using the back foot as the starting point to the point where the ball is declared dead or lost by a fumble. Okay? A muff is an unsuccessful attempt to catch or recover the ball that is touched in an attempt. Okay? A player making a fair catch is not charged with a return unless he muffs the ball, in which case he's credited with a return and the team is charged with a fumble. On the multiplayer kick return, where there is no attempt by the first player or the second player, credit the last player with handling the ball with the return in yards. So this is the only exception where we usually said the first player is always credited with the reception or the run. If there is a multiplayer kick return exchange, now we're talking about plays where he catches the ball, he runs one way and he purposely hands off to the second player. We're going to give the second player the kickoff return yards. Okay? The starting point is where the first guy caught the ball, but the second guy gets credit for the kickoff return and the total yards on the play. Okay? Kaneshiro receives the kickoff on the goal line, advances to the 5 in an effort to hand the ball off to Nakama. So it's a set play. Okay? Nakama then laterals to Takase on the 3, who returns it to the 25. So now you got 3 people involved. 3 crazy guys out there. Okay? We're not going to credit the first or the second player with the kickoff return. The third player will get the entire return from the start, which in this case is the goal line, to the end, to the 25-yard line. Thank goodness you don't have to record that. Yeah, you just have to do who is the last player, where the start, and where the end. Thank goodness for kickoff returns.
If your team plays Moanalua, they do this a lot on their kick return, their famous score.
Yeah, Mauna Loa does a lot of misdirection, trick plays to kind of throw the teams off.
The first guy who picks up the ball is not necessarily the guy who's going to run the kick back.
Okay.
We have to include with the lateral happening on this.
Yes, if they score a touchdown in this play, you credit the last player, the total yards, with lateral. So in this case, since it started from the goal line, and Takase on the third lateral gets the touchdown, it's going to be scored as Takase 100 kickoff return with lateral. Yeah, I know, that's true. Yeah, so technically in high school, if the ball breaks the plane or hits the plane on the goal line, it's an automatic touchback. So in this case, you got to know that it cannot be, in this case, a goal line if there is a play. It has to be from the 1-yard line on this play. So again, so it would be 99 yards with lateral. Kickoff return with lateral. Field goals. Oh, go ahead.
The ball is kicked
The goal line. Yeah.
They have a choice to run it out of there.
Well, by rule, if it's on the goal line or in the end zone, the play is automatically dead.
Okay,
So-
so then it takes it to
It goes to the 20-yard line. Anytime it's on the field playing from the 1-yard line, the receiving team has the option of taking it out.
so that the goal line plus that
Plus the 10 yards in the end zone, yeah, automatic dead. So if you see the officials kill it, there's no return.
So how you refine that?
There is no return. No. It's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Yeah. Thank goodness. Phew. Don't have to worry about that on that particular play.
From where the ball is caught, right?
Yes, from where the ball is caught.
Sorry. Because that's standing in the end zone. You know what? Screw it. So like if the guy's standing in the end zone, the ball is still not over the goal line. You can take it out.
I think so. I believe so. It's the ball. It's the status of the ball. And since the ball's status is still in the playing field, he still has the option of taking it out. But whatever you do, don't split hairs. Just go with whatever the officials. If the officials say dead, you know it must be in the end zone. If it goes out, you know that it cannot be from the goal line. It has to be from at least the 1-yard line. Okay?
Apologizing on that terminology.
No. It's all right. No problem. Okay, field goals are measured from the spot of where the ball is kicked, not the line of scrimmage, from when the ball is kicked to the goalpost, plus 10 yards. So if any part of the ball is kicked, rests on or above the yard stripe, credit the distance of that yard line. If the ball rests between the yard stripes, credit the distance from the yard line nearest the intended goal. Okay? Situation. Yoshida's ready to kick a field goal. The holder, Takase, that quarterback, lines up the ball between the B's 15 and 14-yard line. Yoshida's kick is good. So how many yards is the successful field goal? So again, Takase lines it up between the 15 and the 14-yard line, and the kick is good. So what is the total yards on this field goal? Okay. Any guesses? You don't know? Okay, since the ball was between the 15 and the 14, again, we forward towards the goal. So you credit Yoshida with a 24-yard field goal. Okay? So on this type of play, as a statistician, you got to know where the holder is located. Okay? What yard line is where the holder located? If you can tell where that is, then you can record how long was this field goal attempt. In this case, it was 24 yards. So you credit him with a 24-yard. Whether he made it or missed it, you record it. Okay? Possession changes. If you plan to take play-by-play, please note the following at the start of each possession. The time of the clock to start the possession, as well as the new line of scrimmage between the hash marks, forwarding now going to A. Okay? So again, time of the clock and the new line of scrimmage. Because sometimes if it's between, you have to respot it. Okay? That's helpful sometimes if we know when the last drive of the game took place. That's a good way of, again, as we talked about at the very beginning, telling the story of how the game was won. We're done. Any questions? Yes. You can keep time of possession. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have a little quiz. We're going to have a little quiz. So I want you to take play-by-play. Okay, this is going to be a little quiz, and we'll see how well you do on this particular quiz. Okay, so try your best. Try your best. I mean, this is going to be. Okay. So keep in mind now that because of the angle of this of these plays, you may not see the entire yard line, but try and do the best we can. I'll try and stop the video if possible. So here's a situation in the game. It's 1:53 left in the fourth quarter. Lahaina Luna will be the team in white. They will be team A. Iolani is in black. They will be team B. Okay? So we're going to begin with play number 1. We begin with a kickoff. Spot the ball where he catches it. Okay, let's start it. Let's do the we'll do the play again. Okay, okay. Spot the ball. Don't worry about the player's name. Spot the ball where he caught it, and where did the play end? Okay. Okay, what do we got here? Write it down. Write it down on your play-by-play. Where was he caught? And where did the play end? Does anybody want to watch it one more time? Okay. Team A. We're talking about Team A. Okay, we're going to show the play one more time. Okay. Okay, did everybody got it? Everybody got their answer down? Here's the answer. Goes from the 2 to the 30-yard line. Okay? So you credit number 7 in this case. You don't have to worry about number 7. 28 yards from the 2 to the 30-yard line. Okay? Okay? So this is a contest now. We want to see how many you get correct, okay? Okay? So if you got 28 yards, okay, give yourself correct. Okay? Okay? All right. Play number 2. 1st and 10 at the 30. Okay, be honest now, okay? It's all right to make mistakes. Okay? Okay, the ball's on the 30. We all agree, right? It's all on the 30, yeah? Okay. Okay, you see the umpire in the middle there? He just marched the ball from the previous spot to the new spot. Okay? So your question here is, obviously there was a penalty. Spot the ball. Okay? Okay, the penalty was marched off. How many yards was the penalty and spot the ball? Okay? Five-yard penalty. Ball moves from A30 to A25. Got it? Okay, we're on play 3 now. It's 1st and 15. The ball is on the A 25-yard line. Okay, 1st and 15, ball on the A 25. Okay, let's watch the play again. Ball's on the 25. Okay, this is a play where this guy right here should help you because this official here is spotting the ball for you right there. Okay, so that's true, he moves, but that should give you a first indication of where the ball should be spotted. So, your task, the ball goes from where to where, how many yards? Okay? Write down your answers. Write down your answers. Okay? Okay, this is the result. 27 yards from A25 to B48. Got it? Okay, play 4. 1st and 10. Ball's now on the B48. Okay? 1st and 10, B48. Here's the next play. You see on this play, you see where the ball is? It's between the 49 and the 48. So again, the ball is on the B48. Okay? Because sometimes the referees will kind of move the ball just slightly here and there. Find out where the ball is resting, and that's your official spot. Okay? Okay, play 4. Okay, let's look at the play again. 1st and 10, ball on the B48. Again, use the official here to help you where the ball could be located. Okay? Okay, so spot the ball. We know that it goes from the 48 until where does the ball end and how many yards you're going to give runner number 32. Okay, everybody got their answer down? Anybody want to see the play one more time? No? You all right? One more time, okay. One more time. Okay? Just keep in mind, it doesn't happen like this in the real game. You don't get to see it 3 times, you know. You got to really kind of make that decision as you move along. Okay, so here's the result. 32 rushes from the B48 to the B32. Credit number 32 for 16 yards. Okay? The drive continues. Play 5. 1st and 10, ball now on the B32 yard line, where you left off. Fumble. Okay, let's look at this play again. There's a fumble on the play here. Okay, so the question now is, who gets credit with the run? Does the quarterback get the credit, or does the running back, he was supposed to give it to, get credit with the run? Okay, that's first question. Second question, the ball goes from the 32 to where? Spot the ball. And how many yards and who gets credit for that play? We'll look at the play one more time. Everybody write their answer down? Okay, on this play, it was a little bit tricky because the ball actually got repositioned to the 34-yard line. So, the quarterback gets credit for the play because the ball was never successfully given to number 32. So, number 4 gets credit for the rush. In this case, the rush goes for -2 yards from the 32 to the 34. Okay? All right. Last play. Play 6. 2nd and 12. The ball now on the 34-yard line. Interception. Okay, let's look at the play one more time.
Sure you got who intercepted the right number. He's got a bunch of guys jumping up and down.
Okay, so let's walk. Oops. Okay. Okay, so make sure. So again, there's 2 things on this play. Identify who was the interception guy, the guy who caught the interception, and where is the ball spotted. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind, if there is a person who falls immediately when intercepting the ball, he doesn't get a return. Okay? He was a return of 0 yards on that return. Okay? So you don't have to worry about the return yards. The key in this play is who made the interception and where is the ball spotted. Okay? So write your answer down on that. Okay, so on this play, we give Team B, number 19, the interception, and he gets a return of 0 yards from the 19. Okay, so how many got them all right? How many of the people, the newbies, got it all right? Okay, how many of you got 5 of the 6 right? 5, great. How about 4? 4? How about 3? Okay, that's good. I got some prizes for you. So basically, everybody's going to make mistakes. I think that's the bottom line is everybody's going to make mistakes. But I think the best part about it is that you're working together as a team. You're literally a part of your football team. Being a don't ever discount the fact that you're a statistician. You're definitely part of the team. Your coaches will rely on you. We here in the media will rely on you. Have fun out there because it's a very short season, but if you work together, plays like this, I mean, you'll have a great time with that.